Welcome to Talking Technology with VI Labs. At VI Labs, we believe technology is the single greatest enabler for people with sight loss and all disabilities. If you're looking for the latest news and conversation on tech from a more accessible perspective, you've come to the right place.
Yes, indeed you have. Hello and welcome in to Talking Technology episode number 65. Can you believe it already? I must say, I thought that when we reached episode 65 that we would be reaching our retirement age, but in fact, actually, the retirement age is now 66. I don't know when that changed, but there you go. So we have one episode to go before we reach our retirement age in podcast episodes. But there you go. Welcome in to Talking Technology episode 65. And I know I usually say that we have a packed show for you coming up, but today we really do. We are exploring all sorts from the kitchen. We're going to be going through the kitchen from the oven to the fridge, and we'll be exploring some of the really cool smart tech that can help you out if you're giving yourself a good old kitchen upgrade. We'll be looking at all of the cool stuff and all the fun toys and the apps and all of that over the next hour or so. So please do stick around with us. We would love to have you involved. And hey, one of the ways that you can get involved is, of course, to get in touch with us. And there are loads of ways you can do so. If you want to join the conversation, it's the same way you always do. You know it, you love it. You can send us a WhatsApp voice note. You can send us a message using our number. It's 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. Tell us what you use in the kitchen. Have you got a really fancy kettle or a talking toaster? We would love to hear from you. 086 199 0011 for a WhatsApp voice note, or you can get in touch the good old-fashioned way by email. You can send us an email to content@vi.ie. That's content@vi.ie. However you would like to get in touch, we would absolutely love to hear from you on any tech-related topics at all. And if you haven't been paying attention to the podcast feeds over the last little while, or haven't been checking out the Vision Ireland social media, well, you may have missed the news that last week AppleVis announced that they were going to be acquired by Be My Eyes. Now, we've covered that in great detail over in our Tech on Tap newsletter, and as well in an episode of Talking Technology Extra, our first one in quite a while. But we got some voice note reactions to that, and to join me to talk about that and more throughout the show today, I am joined from Kilkenny by Mr. Joe Lonigan. Joe, how are we?
Hi David, I'm all good.
Brilliant. Now, Joe, AppleVis obviously set to be acquired by Be My Eyes. We chatted all about that last week. But we did have a voice note in, as always, from our good friend of the show, Edvard. And Edvard, the last time Edvard sent us a voice note, he was a distraught man, Joe. He was really struggling to deal with this news, as we all were. It was really sad news for the industry, but now that things are starting to turn around, how would you reckon Edvard's feeling this week, Joe?
Well, he was very upset last time, so I'm guessing he's going to be absolutely delighted. Absolutely delighted indeed.
Hello, lads. I am absolutely delighted to hear brilliant news that AppleVis is alive and it will be still running, because as you may remember in my last message, I was literally grieving over that. So it's actually great to hear that Be My Eyes had sponsored AppleVis to stay, and I am really grateful. Now, whether or not, I don't know if the podcasts in particular will be the same. It would be great if they would be the same. Or at least, since they're kind of, I don't really want to say rebranding, but since they're kind of, since Be My Eyes has taken over, it would be cool if AppleVis added like some kind of a new intro music since Vision Ireland had rebranded to VI Labs. You guys have like this little intro music at the start of the podcast, so it would be cool if AppleVis did something similar to that with their new kind of a rebrand. And it also would be cool if you could actually call AppleVis directly using Be My Eyes. I think I actually mentioned it to Be My Eyes developers years ago that it would be cool they actually added AppleVis to the specialized help. And the developer said that it's a great idea, but they haven't done it ever since. So it would be cool if they actually added something like that.
Yeah, it absolutely would. And thank you, as always, Edvard, for getting in touch. It's really interesting, Joe, to talk about the AppleVis podcast now, because the first, I guess, post-acquisition podcast came out from Be My Eyes and AppleVis yesterday. The AppleVis team, David Nason and Thomas Donville there, interviewed Hans Weiberg and Brian Bashan from Be My Eyes, just talking about the acquisition and stuff like that. And it does sound, and I know, look, these changes, they take a while. We knew that the Vision Ireland VI Labs rebrand was coming for a little while before it did. Before we changed our name from NCBI, we knew that rebrand was coming, and I think this was a little bit more unexpected for AppleVis, so I wouldn't have expected changes overnight like that. But it is good at the same time to hear that it's remaining the same in some ways, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it has to stay the same in some ways. That's what made it popular. It's been independent and having its own editorial team, and they have decided to keep most, if not all, of those. So, and it was good to see David Nason and Thomas Donville interviewing Hans. So that means, like, they've given them the look of being in control, if not being in some sort of control of the podcast. So that's a good start.
It absolutely is. I do wonder, there were some kind of, the podcast answered some questions for me. It also created some new ones. I don't know currently, are they like Be My Eyes have said that they're going to hire 2 people to take care of AppleVis, which is obviously fantastic. I don't know whether they are actually hiring members from the existing AppleVis editorial team or whether these will be new staff. That's a new question. I had originally assumed that they will be new staff, but now I'm second guessing that from listening to the podcast yesterday. But it is really interesting to hear, and who knows, maybe they will take a leaf out of our book and get new like Sonic logos and stuff like that, like we did when we were rebranding here. You would never know. They might copy us, Joe. Copying it's a name of flattery, isn't it?
It is a form of flattery, but I'm not sure about that. I think whatever happens, they do have a little bit of financial noose now, so the world is their oyster, and they also have a massive following. So let's watch this space, and hopefully AppleVis can only get better in my eyes.
Absolutely. Edvard, thank you so much, as always, for getting in touch. If you want to send us a voice note, as always, the number you need to do so, 086 199 0011 on WhatsApp. Remember, a WhatsApp voice note is not a call. You want to use the WhatsApp voice note button. It's located down in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Righto, Joe, this week we are taking a dive into your kitchen. You've got a brand new fancy kitchen and you've got loads of new toys. Do you want to tell us a little bit, first of all, about the new kitchen? What kind of setups you've got there?
Yeah, well, we've been looking for a new kitchen for years, actually, kind of struggling along with the old kitchen for a long time since we moved into the house. And eventually we decided to take the big step and go visit some showrooms and pick a new kitchen. So we went with Sinnott Kitchens. One of the reasons was because they provide and you can get all in one there, appliances and kitchen into one place. So we went for that option. And the kitchen itself, I suppose, it's very drawer based, and it's a handle-less kitchen, so there's no handles on the drawers. So it has a kind of a rail above the drawer, so you can fit your fingers in and pull them out. The bins are hidden as well. They're in the drawer, and even the handles above, they kind of have a spring back system, so you push the the presses above the cupboards, or some people call them cupboards, above the likes of the fridge and that, they have a spring back system. So you press the cupboard door and it springs back at you, and then you have to push it in so it locks again. So that's the kitchen itself. It's I think the colour they call it is cashmere, and it's got a slate worktop. A slate coloured worktop now, not real slate, but so I suppose synthetic. And also we wanted to go for the smart kitchen, so we tried our best to get as many smart appliances as we could. So oven, hob, fridge. We already had a smart washing machine. Our dishwasher is not smart. We didn't change that because it's in perfect condition. We said we'd hold off till it actually runs out of energy, if you know what I mean. It's just all these appliances have a lifespan, and we'll say the 10 years are up, we might change the dishwasher. So that was one of the devices we didn't change. And I suppose we went for a new tap system as well, a new Quooker tap they're called, and that provides boiling water and filtered water, and it's also a normal tap, so a 3-in-1 kind of a tap. And is there anything else, David? Not really. I still have my old air fryer, and that's pushed. Everything is hidden away. There's nothing on the counter, no kettle, no toaster. Everything is put behind presses or cupboards, whichever word you prefer. And we're very happy with it so far. We're still getting used to it, but that's our new kitchen.
Super stuff. And Joe, you can never have enough drawers, isn't it true? Like so much storage there, but it's always handy to have a good few drawers, isn't it?
Yeah, and drawers are so much better than cupboards, because if you have cupboards, you'll find you'll put stuff in cupboards and maybe never see it again. It'll go down the back. Yeah. But with a drawer, you can pull it out and you can put your hand in and reach right to the back of the drawer.
That's the job. That's the way to do it. So you mentioned there that you've got loads of cool tech around the smart side of things. And we'll take a look at the Quooker taps later on. We'll be looking at the Home Connect app for your smart oven, which you can even use with Alexa. That's pretty cool. But we're going to start off with a visit to your kitchen now, Joe, as you show us the Smart Things app. So before we dive into the Smart Things app, what can you actually control with the Smart Things app? This is from Samsung. Yeah,
you can control loads of devices with the Smart Things app, David. The world is your oyster, really. You could go into Harvey Norman or any of those retailers expert and look for devices with the Smart Things sticker on them. But basically, the one that really works well with Smart Things is the Samsung devices. So I've got a Samsung TV, which I don't really use with the Smart Things app, to be honest. I just use Bixby and the remote controls. But in the kitchen itself, I have a side-by-side fridge freezer. It's a Samsung CG153 fridge freezer, and has ice and water as well built in. And I also have a Samsung washing machine, which I have for the last 6 years, to be honest with you. And it's still working quite well, so I held on to that. And so they're the two Samsung devices I have in my kitchen, the fridge freezer and the washing machine.
Super stuff. Well, let's take our first trip of the day to the legendary kitchen of Mr. Joe Lonigan to explore some of the cool things you can do with the Samsung Smart Things app.
I'm here in the kitchen and I'm going to have a look at the Smart Things app. The Smart Things app in my kitchen runs a couple of devices. So it runs the fridge freezer, which is made by Samsung, and it also runs the washing machine, which is also made by Samsung. So I'm going to open the app now and have a look.
Smart Things. Smart Things. One device.
So it should open on the home screen of the Smart Things app, and this is my dashboard where it shows me what devices are connected in the Smart Things app. So I'm going to flick to the right now with VoiceOver and see what devices are there.
50 degrees F. Living room, washer, ready. Living room, Samsung S90CA55, off. Kitchen, refrigerator, door closed. Attachment PNG, kitchen, refrigerator, door closed.
So it has 3 devices there. The fridge freezer are labelled in the kitchen, and of course the washer is labelled in the wrong room. I'll have to fix that later. And there's the Samsung TV there as well. The TV is currently offline, so we don't need to use that at the moment, and it's currently turned off. So I'm going to go in and have a quick look at the fridge freezer first.
Attachment PNG. Kitchen, refrigerator, door closed. Kitchen, navigate up, button, double tap to activate.
So if I flick to the right, we can have a look and see what kind of things we can change on the fridge freezer. And it's great to have control of your fridge freezer and not have to rely on anybody else to maybe increase or decrease the temperature and things like that. So I'm going to flick to the right and see what options we have here.
Refrigerator, home, kitchen, more options, but comma, fridge, 3 decreased, fridge, 3 degrees Celsius, slider.
So that's good. It tells us the actual temperature of the fridge.
Decrease temperature, button, double tap to activate.
Decrease temperature. So I have a button where I can decrease the temperature.
Increase temperature, button, double tap to activate.
And I also have an increase the temperature button. So that's quite basic and easy to understand. And you can just double tap on either of those buttons to increase or decrease the temperature by 1 degrees.
Off, power cool. Switch, double tap to act. Freezer, minus 18 degrees Celsius, slider.
So minus 18 degrees is a perfect temperature for a freezer. And it's on that at the moment, so we'll leave it alone.
Decrease temperature, button. Increase temperature, button. Double tap to activate.
And I'm going to open the door and leave it open for a while and the alarm might go off.
Off, power freeze.
So I'm just waiting here now. See, will the door make a noise? So there's an alarm going off to say I've left the fridge door open. So if you have kids or even if you leave the door open yourself by accident, the alarm's going to go off. I'm going to close the door now. And if you had the app closed on your phone, you would have also got a notification to say your fridge door or your freezer door has been left open. So that's a handy feature. We'll move on now to the washing machine. So I'm going to walk over here to the utility room. And we're going to flick to the right and see, can I access my washing machine?
Home, button, kitchen, refrigerator, living room, washer, ready.
There we are. I've labelled incorrectly. It should say kitchen or laundry room, but I'm having trouble going back and relabelling the room. So we're just going to go into the washer anyway and have a look at.
Living room, navigate up, button.
And I'm going to land in the dashboard of the washing machine itself with all the options. I'm going to flick to the right and see what we have.
Washer. Home living room. More options. Ready. Image. Cotton. Start. Button. Temp. Button. Rinse. Button.
Okay, so as you can see, we have cotton, start, temperature, rinse, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to flick back and see, can we change cotton to something else?
Temp. Stop. Cotton. Image. Cotton.
I double tap on cotton to activate the list.
Cotton.
Then I'll move down my finger.
Start. But bedding. Image. Bedding. Image. Delicates. Image. Baby care. Image.
So we have all the different options there: baby care, bedding, and there's images beside them, like the symbols of what they are. But I ignore those symbols. I don't need to know about them, so I'm going to keep flicking past.
Outdoor care. Image. Dark garment. Image. Echo drum clean. Image. Rinse plus spin. Image. Denim. Image.
So denim.
Denim. Denim.
I'm going to choose denim.
Denim.
And now I have to OK this.
Echo. Wool. Denim. Wool. OK. Rinse.
Double tap on OK. I'm going to put the temperature.
Start. Denim. Image. Start. Temp. Button.
Double tap on temperature.
Temp. 40 degrees Celsius. Button.
I'm going to go a bit lower so my jeans won't shrink.
60 degrees. 95. Temp. My face. 10, 9, 60, 40, 30 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius.
I'll go for 30 degrees, double tap on that.
30 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees, OK, cold, OK. Remaining laundry. Spin, button. Remaining, my favorite, spin, button.
Takes a little bit of flicking around to find where you are. You can get familiar with it after a while. I'm going to flick left now back to the start button, and then we might hear my washing machine start.
Rinse, temp, start, start, button. Start.
There we are. It's recognised that I've hit start, and my next double tap on the start button should start the washing machine.
Start.
There we are. Now you can hear the washing machine dragging in some water.
Cancel.
And
button.
It's starting up and going to start spinning very soon.
That really is the way to do it. I must say, I find that really, especially with the washing machine, Joe, I love how that works. It really is. It's so simple and smooth that you just double tap start and away you go.
Yes, David, I find it actually great once you get used to the app and flicking around and the way it works. I actually find the washing machine really good to use. You also have to put a little bump on the smart control button on the washing machine itself, just to turn on smart control before you can work it remotely.
Yeah, we have a smart machine now at home as well. It's like that. It has to be set with a specific setting every time. So honestly, we don't use the smart features much, and ours doesn't link to any like smart assistants or anything like that. But that sounds like a great implementation there from Samsung. And do you know, Joe, you mentioned there about jeans shrinking. I learned a fun fact the other day. This is totally unrelated to technology, but you know how they actually make it, you know, if they say that, oh, clothes won't shrink or whatever. Did you know how they actually make that possible?
No, David, go on, tell me.
So they actually pre-shrink them, right? So before the item is sold to you, because all of these materials, they naturally shrink when washed at high temperatures. So they actually pre-shrink them before they're sold so that they don't actually shrink more when they get to the customer. And I just thought that was fascinating. Totally irrelevant to this conversation. But
well,
since
David,
we're talking about
everything
washing
is
machines,
related to technology. Imagine the amount of technology they had to go through before they actually found out that.
yeah, it's true. Do you know that some poor engineer somewhere was like, do you know what? How are we going to do this? And they were just like, we'll shrink it already. Do you know? We'll sell it shrunk. You know?
Yeah, Honey, Who Shrunk the Kids? Remember that? Remember that movie?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, Joe, that is far from the only smart tech that you got in the kitchen. And one of the places that you went to explore some of this smart tech was the Home of Innovation showroom. This is from BSH in Dublin. They own a number of brands. They have Bosch, Siemens, Neff, and presumably some more as well. They're a German company. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience before we play? We have an interview in a second with Paul Clark, who takes care of things up there at the showroom. But do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience first?
Yeah, so when I was with Synod Kitchens, we were having trouble with some of the devices and picking the correct one, for example, with the Neff oven and that kind of thing. And they suggested, why don't you go to BSH, Home of Innovation, because there they have all of the appliances made from Siemens, Bosch, and Neff. And if you want an appliance, you'll surely find one there that suits you. So that's where we went. We made an appointment with the consultant, and it's free. And we went and had a look, and we were able to feel the appliances, test them out, give them a go with Alexa, and also to have a look at the working with VoiceOver. Of course, Paul's knowledge of VoiceOver and things like that is limited, but I gave him a hand and explained to him some of the features that VoiceOver had and how we access technology. So we worked together on that, and then we had a meeting, and Paul can fill you in on the rest.
Now, if you want to get an upgrade for your kitchen, you're going to want to get an idea of lots of different products that are available on the market. And a great place to start is the Home of Innovation showroom in Ballymount in Dublin. And joining me from Ballymount now, I'm delighted to be joined by Paul Clark. Paul, how are you?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me, David.
Good.
All good here.
Excellent stuff. That's a good start. So, Paul, I guess to start off then, do you want to tell me a little bit, what is the Home of Innovation showroom? Do you want to tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we're a product showroom in Ballymount, and we display three of our brands, which are Bosch, Neff and Siemens. So what we provide here is product consultations for customers. We don't sell directly. So we just give the information to the actual customers that come in through the door. So give an example, like you'd have some of our trade partners, some of the retailers wouldn't have all our ovens, for example, on display, whereas we'd have the full range of Bosch, Neff, Siemens. So we get a lot of retail customers, and another part of the business is kitchen customers. So A lot of the kitchen companies out there would have an account with us, and obviously all the major retailers would have an account with us. DoD Electrical, Harvey Norman's, Power City, Expert, and Euronics. So they'd have an account. So if you go into let's say, one of our retailers, they might only have a small showroom, they might only have one or two, maybe 3 or 4 ovens on display. We have, I would say, looking here, I'd say probably about 40 ovens.
That's a lot of ovens.
So it's a lot of ovens, yeah. So for some reason, ovens are the big thing. Most people ask all the questions. You spend more time talking about the ovens. It's like the center point of the kitchen than you would anything else. So there's loads of different technologies there. So you have just your standard ovens. We sell ovens that have a microwave incorporated. We have added steam ovens, full steam ovens, ovens with meat probes, all manner of ovens.
So let's say I decide in the morning that, right, I want a new kitchen and I want to explore many of the options that are available to me. What do I do? What does that process look like for a consumer who's just decided they want a new kitchen and wants to learn a bit more about what's on offer?
Yeah. So most people come through the door. We'll just ask a few key questions like, do you like cooking? Are you looking for one oven, two? Just general questions, kind of narrow it down, because you might get somebody who just wants a basic oven just for, just doing pizzas and goujons for the kids midweek. So it's all about kind of narrowing down the range to find out what the consumer wants.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, Joe has been raving to me about this Home Connect app. So tell me a little bit, I guess, about Home Connect and some of the smart appliances that are out there now, because these devices are getting pretty intelligent.
Yeah. So nearly all our dishwashers would have Home Connect built in. Hobs, fridges, would you believe? Ovens, most of the ovens, when you go to a certain threshold, will have the Home Connect. And the advantage of the Home Connect with regards to an oven, you can go into Home Connect and there's a built-in menu and you can select the dish. So it's a vast range. All the dishes are constantly being updated. You could select a specific dish and send that information to your oven. It will tell you what shelf level to put it on, and it will select the temperature.
Okay.
So that's just one example. Another example is some of our higher-end products would have a meat probe. So it's a meat probe that stays in the oven while you're cooking. So let's say you're doing chicken on the bone, let's say. It'll actually monitor the chicken in real time. It'll tell you what the current core temperature of the chicken is, and it will actually notify you when the chicken is done.
That's really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It's pretty cool on the ovens. From the service point of view, let's say you had a dishwasher with Home Connect, and let's say there was an issue with the dishwasher and there's a code coming up. What happens when you ring the service? They can diagnose the issue if your dishwasher is connected to the Wi-Fi. And they might just tell the consumer, your filter's blocked, or, could be something that could be fixed, there and then.
That's really handy. And is that in the app, is it, and stuff like that as well?
It's not in the app now, but normally I think what they do, they'll ask for permissions to actually go in and have a look at it remotely to see what the issue is. Hobs have Wi-Fi as well, and what happens then if some of our hoods will have Wi-Fi? So when you turn on your hob, the hood will kind of turn on automatically. It's called Hob Hood Connect. So the hood will adjust to the actual many rings you're using. The motor and the hood will adapt.
That's a really useful feature that I suppose when you really consider it actually has a lot of benefits for people who may be in wheelchairs, for example. There's a lot of benefits in that, which is really cool. Do you guys have many people who would come into the showroom who may have visual impairments or even other disabilities? And what kind of products are out there? And are the products kind of accessible for people with disabilities? What's all that area like?
Well, I liaised with Joe before he came in, and in terms of setting up the oven with Alexa. And to be fair, I had a little bit of trouble doing it now, but kind of Joe coached me over the phone on what to do. Now, I was talking to Joe just there 2 days ago, and he said he's flying on the oven. So he was able to put on Circuiterm, which is the fan oven for the Nest, and select the temperature using Alexa. And another thing I was impressed with as well was he was able to control his devices using voiceover on the iPad, which was brilliant, which I didn't know you could do. I find that most consumers coming in the door now, when it comes to ovens, will be looking for the Nest slide and hide, so the door just slides right underneath the actual base of the oven. And that is hugely popular. It was designed for wheelchair users initially, and it just kind of caught on. So most of the Nest range would have a slide and hide door.
That's really cool.
So yes, especially if you have a kind of chest height, you can just get right in at your oven as well. So that's very popular at the moment.
So if I want to go pay the Home of Innovation showroom a visit, how does that work? Do I go and book an appointment? Do I need to book an appointment? What's that process like?
No, you don't have to book them. We accept walk-ins all the time now, but if it's a big kitchen, or I would always ask somebody to try to book an appointment if they can, just to avoid disappointment. So what you do, you go onto our website, which is homeofinnovation.ie, and at the very top there's a tab marked consultations, and you just click on that. You click your date and your time, and you get an hour with one of the consultants here, or more than likely myself, and we go through everything with the customer.
Super stuff.
And what we do then, we just send them back to whoever sent them. So be it the kitchen company or retailer, we always send them back.
Okay, that's really cool. And you guys, you've got the widest range there. It's not, as you say, just ovens. It's fridges. It's all of that kind of stuff. Anything that you could need really in a kitchen, I'm guessing you guys pretty much have it.
Yep, vacuum cleaners, kettles, toasters, refrigeration, freestanding washing machines, everything really. Yeah.
Super stuff. Are there such things as smart toasters? Because that caught my attention there. Is there such a thing as a smart toaster these days?
I haven't seen one.
Oh,
I haven't seen one. No.
Well, see, there you go. I'm going to have to go out now and invent a smart toaster. That's going to be my my €1 million idea. So nobody steal it. Nobody, please, anyone make a smart toaster. That's mine. I've copyrighted that. Listen, Paul, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Technology today. We really do appreciate it. I know the kitchen is the room that many people will spend most of their time in. So having a kitchen that you enjoy is really, really important, obviously. And you guys are definitely showing off a wide range of stuff up there, which is really, really cool. So listen, thank you so much. And we really appreciate you joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Thanks very much.
Yeah, it really is some fascinating stuff there that's the Paul Clark from the BSH Home of Innovation showroom. They're based in Ballymount in Dublin. Obviously, they're just really going to be showing you the Bosch and Siemens and Neff products, products that are in their range. But still, it's always good to get a kind of wide view of that. And they are the biggest, organization selling these products in the EU. So always good to get a wide view of some of the stuff that is on offer from them, which is brilliant. Joe, you had a pretty positive experience with the guys there in Home of Innovation.
Yeah, I definitely had a positive experience with Paul. Look, if we weren't comfortable with a certain product, we had no trouble saying it to him, and then he shows a different one. And as I said, he done his very best to get the smart speaker and voiceover going, and we had some success in the showroom with that. I even had more success once I got home and played around with it myself. But at least we were able to test out voiceover in the showroom itself, especially with the oven, and I found it definitely a help picking my appliance, put it that way.
Brilliant stuff. Now, you mentioned there, and Paul mentioned the Home Connect app. Now, we've got a demo of the Home Connect app in just a second, but you have had a generally good experience with this, certainly with the oven, but it hasn't been universally positive in relation to the hob. Do you want to tell us a little bit of what's going on with the hob here?
No, with the oven, it has been amazing, and it works brilliant. But with the hob, yes, I can play around with the features of the hob. But then once I've set the, we'll say, front left ring and then set it to 6.5 heating and I send it to the device, then I have to confirm settings on the device. That wasn't clear, to be honest with you, before I bought it because we didn't have VoiceOver set up on all devices. But it kind of defeats the purpose as regards remotely working the hob. You can stick bump-ons then onto the device itself and then tap where you want to remote it. But I suppose the other good thing is when you do put bump-ons on the device and we'll say you press the level, the temperature level, 6.57, whatever, it does appear on the app. If you had your phone open, you can actually see it changing on your phone. So that's something, you know. It will say as well, front left active, 6.5 temperature, and if you move it up, it'll say 7, 8, whatever. Also, the hob does have presence detection. So if you leave, it's an induction hob, so it's totally smooth. There's no tactileness about it at all. There's no tactile buttons on it or anything. So it is probably difficult for a blind person to use in a lot of ways. But when you put your steel pot on it, you can see that it will actually detect it. You know, so it will actually detect the pot, and the heat will go straight to that pot.
That is really cool. And you told me as well about that kind of feature, that if you have the pot like slightly between two rings of the hob, that it'll kind of compensate with it.
Yeah. There's also a flex. So not all induction hobs have this, but it has a flex. You can turn on flex cooking or flexi cooking. So then two hobs or two rings will be joined together, and you don't have to be exact then with the actual where you put the pot. But for anybody, if I was giving advice to anybody, I would hold back on purchasing the hob until Home Connect introduce full remote control from the app. It is probably one of the devices in the house that I would be least happy with, put it that way, even though I am happy with it to a degree. I would be less happy with the hob than any other device at the moment. It does take a little while to get used to as well. If you switch from induction cooking from we'll say a normal electric cooker or gas or anything like that. So it's a big learning curve with the hob, but we're getting there. And I'm in touch with the Home Connect people, and I'm trying to make changes. There is a working group there as well that you can sign on to test products and stuff like that. So watch this space, David. I'll let you know if there's any changes in that department.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look now at the Home Connect app, which is a really interesting way of controlling more of those devices. We had Samsung SmartThings earlier on, but we have the Home Connect app for controlling all of your Bosch and Siemens and Neff devices. Let's take our second trip of the day to Joe's Kitchen.
I'm here with the Home Connect app in my kitchen, and we're gonna have a quick look at the Home Connect app today and see what features it has and explain some of the devices it can connect to. So I'm going to open the app now and have a look.
App switcher. Home Connect. Active.
So it's in
Actions
my recently
available.
opened app, so I'm going to double tap on it.
Home Connect. Favorites. What? Oven. Standby. Hob. Off. Appliances.
So I just flicked back up to the top there so that we can explain this better. The Home Connect app is an app that runs devices like Neff, Bosch and Siemens, and it can run all sorts of appliances like ovens, washing machines, hobs, coffee machines, robot hoovers and vacuums, loads of different devices, also fridges and freezers, that kind of thing as well. But look, the devices I have in the house that work with Home Connect are the Neff N50 oven and the Siemens hob. The hob is a little bit less has a little bit less remote access than the oven, mainly because of health and safety issues. And I also have a washing machine as a demo device on this app. But so I'm in the app now at the moment, so I'm going to flick to the right.
Add appliance button. Hob off button.
The hob is currently off.
Oven. Standby. Button.
And oven is in standby. So we'll go and play around with the oven for a second and just show you how we can actually maybe start a program, use the oven assist, that kind of thing.
Remote start active. Oven. Stand. Power status. Standby. Dimmed. Button. Chilled proof lock. Off. But cavity lights. Off. Button.
So I could double tap that and it'll turn on the light.
Cavity lights. On.
So I'm looking at my oven right now and I can see the light is after coming on.
Alarm. Button. Quick actions. Recommended. Oven assistance. Take the quickest way to find the best setting for your dish.
So this is quite a useful feature actually, oven assistance. So we could double tap there and let's see what happens.
Appliances. Back button. Popular dishes. Heading level 4. Last used. Heading level 4. Last used. Search for a dish. For example, pizza. Text field. Combo box. List box pop up. Collapsed.
So I could search for a dish and I've previously searched for pizza, frozen pizza, and it has recommended 15 minutes with top and bottom heat at 200 degrees. And we'll go down here, flick down to the right and see what other options we have.
Last used. Salmon. Button. Chicken whole and filled. 1.5 kilograms. Reset last used dishes. But popular dishes. Reset last popular vegetables. Meat. Button. Poultry. Button. Pizza. Button. Cake. Button. Fish. Button. Casseroles. Button. Bread. Button. Surprise me. Button.
Okay, so there's all the options you have. You can go into different types of food and you could follow the step by step until you get the perfect dish. So I'm going to go into poultry here for a second for an example.
Bread. Casserole. Fish. Cake. Pizza. Poultry. Button. Poultry. Chicken breast. Button.
So there's all different types of poultry now. So we're going to flick left and right until we see what options we have.
Chicken. Button. Surprise me. Button. Chicken. Button. Chicken breast. Chicken parts. Chicken nuggets. Duck. Button. Chicken. Button.
So I'm going to go to chicken. See, is there an option for a full chicken?
Appliances. Back button.
Look, we often have issues with full chickens and people are nervous about cooking them in case the middle of them isn't cooked correctly and that kind of thing. So that's why this oven assist setting is so useful. So I'm going to flick to the right and see what other options we have.
Oven assistance. Notification center. Tell us about your half button. Whole button. In whole button. Half but whole button.
So it's asking me, do you have a whole chicken or half a chicken?
Half. Next. Whole
I'm going to pick whole.
Whole. Half. Filled or unfilled. Head. Half. But filled or unfilled. Filled. Button. Unfilled. Button.
Unfilled.
Unfilled. What is the weight of your food? Heading level 4. 1.3 kilograms. Weight in kg. 1.3 kilograms.
Yeah, I'll go for 1.3 kilograms. That's usually the weight I buy.
Weight in kg. 1 decrease. Button. Increase. Button.
And as you can see, I have an option to increase or decrease, and it's a button, so it's very easy. You could double tap on it if I wanted to. So I'll just move on to next.
Recommended setting. Heading. Program icon circle roasting benefit icon extra crisp surface all around 200 degrees Celsius icon 200 degrees Celsius 1H 15 minutes icon 1H 15 minutes. The program will stop automatically after the set time. Tick box. Ticked.
Brilliant. So it's given me a recommended setting of circa roasting for 1 hour 15 minutes. Let me double check what the temperature was again.
Program icon circle roasting benefit icon extra crisp surface all around 200 degrees Celsius icon 200 degrees Celsius 1H 15 minutes icon 1H 15 minutes. The program will stop automatically after the set time. Tick box. Ticked.
So that's great. 200 degrees and 1 hour 15 minutes, and we can be fairly confident that our chicken is going to be fully cooked. And I'm going to flick to the right.
Show alternatives. Button. Next. Button. Next. / result. Language equals on and dish name equals chicken and synonym equals chicken and assistant mode equals oven assistant and how it equals NFB6H7H
Right.
chicken. Image.
I'm going to flick to the right and look for a start button.
Selected dish. Head. Chicken. Type of preparation. Whole. And program icon circ. Step by step guide. Send to my oven. Button.
Send to my oven.
Previous. Send to my / result. Send to my oven. Button.
That's the button I want. Send to my oven. I'm going to double tap there.
Dimmed. Programs. Let adjust the duration. Start. Tab. Start. Button.
And the final step is start. So we've sent the information to the oven and now I'm going to start it. I'm going to double tap on start.
Start. Let rest. Time elapsed. 6 minutes remaining time. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 57 seconds. Programs. Adjust the duration. Stop. Button. Tab bar. Select. Stop. Button.
And as you see, you also have an option to stop. And you can monitor how many minutes are left on your cooking time and that kind of thing. So and that's the oven assist. And as you can see, it's very useful, especially for cooking new types of meals that you might be used to cooking and you might be a bit nervous about cooking. So the oven assist is a great feature. So I'll go back now to the home screen and we'll have a look at the other devices really quick.
Selected. Hob. Favorite. Left zone. Selected. Tab bar. Selected. Home. Tab. Selected. Appliances.
Another great feature about the Home Connect app is the ability to add demo appliances to the app before you buy them. So that for a vision impaired or blind person, this is great because you can test out if the app works out with VoiceOver before you buy that smart appliance. So I'm here in the demo area now of the washing machine. So I'm going to flick down to the right and let people hear what it sounds like.
Control. Heading. Appliances. Back button. Control. Create new favorite. Button. Notification center. Washing machine. Demo.
And it says the word demo there after washing machine just to confirm that.
Programs. Rapid 15/30.
And I'm into the list of programs now, so this is good.
Temperature. 40 degrees C. Spin speed. Off. Options. Spin speed. Off. Options. Delayed operation. Start. Button.
And there, so you can see we passed by some of the programs. I'll go back and see can I change one of the programs.
Delay. Option. Spins. Temperature. Programs. Programs. Rapid 15/30. Program. Cotton. Jeans/dark. Selected. Rapid. Jeans/dark wash. Wash dark colored and color intense items. Selected. Jeans/rapid 15. Blouses/shirt. Outdoor. Auto 30. Auto 4. Automatic 60. Hygiene. Curtains. Drum. Rinse. Spin. Drain. Next. But. Tab bar. Next. Button.
The next button.
Next. 40 degrees.
Or 40 degrees.
Selected. Next. But. Tab. Next. But. Next. 800 revolutions. Next. But. 800 revolutions per minute. 800 next. Button. Next. Extra rinse. Water plus. Vario perf. Next. Tab bar. Next. But. Done. Tab bar. Done. Button. What? Delayed operation. Stop. Tab. Start. Button.
Took me a few goes to get past certain areas there, but all I wanted was jeans at 40 degrees, and now I'm going to click start.
Start. Button. Start. Dimmed. Jeans/dark wash detergent dispensing. Jeans/dark wash pre-washing. Jeans/dark wash washing.
And there's all the examples of the commands that will happen as your wash is taking place. So it's great. You can hear all those things happening with VoiceOver. And once you click start, it will start
Jeans/dark
washing.
wash rinsing. Jeans/dark wash softening. Jeans/dark wash emptying. Jeans/dark wash final spinning.
Brilliant. And
Jeans/dark wash.
once you click start, as I said, it's an example of a Siemens washing machine or a Bosch washing machine or anything that works with Home Connect.
That really is the way to do it, actually, isn't it? You know, just being able to really try before you buy with those demo devices that you can just add a washing machine or whatever it is to the app and be able to get a really good idea of how it's actually going to work, even with VoiceOver and stuff. That really is fantastic. And of course, in your case, Joe, you have the real thing. You have the real oven. And they tell me now that you've started calling yourself the ultimate master chef. Is that right?
Yes, David, I'm the ultimate master chef. Thanks for starting.
You were that before, Joe, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I'm able to turn the oven on at the temperature I want now, so that's a good start.
Indeed.
Yeah, but saying all that, I am delighted with this oven. It's probably one of the better purchases I've ever made. We recently done a kitchen, new kitchen install, and the oven was part of it, so I had to replace the oven. The last oven was quite difficult to use and didn't have any smart features, but this one does. This is the Neff N50 oven. So it comes in graphite or steel. We have the graphite version. it also has 2 dials on it, so you can use it manually as well. Not as accessible manually, but it's partially accessible. So the left dial will change the programs, and the right dial will change the temperature.
Do those click, Joe? Yeah, they click.
Where the magic comes, they click. Yeah, the left one clicks, but the right one doesn't.
Okay, fair.
But where the magic comes in is we can connect it to the Home Connect app and work it through VoiceOver on our smartphones or TalkBack if you're Android. And after that, we have the ability through the Home Connect app to link it to our smart speakers. So the one I use is the Amazon Echo. That's where I find the oven really good, David. It gives me, I suppose, 100% access to all the features in the oven.
That's brilliant stuff. I remember years ago seeing one of those Amazon microwaves. They were part of, I think, the Amazon gadgets range, the Alexa gadgets back in the day. And I always thought that's a really, really cool concept. But you've now got this smart oven. So do you want to show us just how your oven works with the smart speaker, how that's all working?
Yeah, so I'm going to ask it a couple of commands now. So apologies for anybody. I might set off their smart speaker with the wake word. So I linked it to my smart speaker, and there's the Home Connect skill. So we had to go into the Amazon Alexa app and go to more and search for the skill, and then I had to link it. So that once it's linked, then I can ask it various commands. The command I'll go with today to start us off is I'm going to say, Alexa, ask my oven to assist me.
Which program would you like?
Top and bottom heat.
Okay, which temperature?
180 degrees.
For how long?
25 minutes.
Okay, top and bottom heat at 180 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes.
Yeah, so my oven I can hear in the background. You won't be able to hear it from our microphone here, but the oven, I can confirm, has come on.
That's really, really cool. And that will you get like notifications on your phone if that's done and all of that, or how does that work, Joe?
Yeah, the first notification I will get is quick heating has finished, and my oven is ready to put in the pizza or whatever I decide to put into it. And it's like the preheat thing, a lot of meals you'll have to preheat the oven. So quick heating has completed, and I can open the door, which is a slide and hide door as well, David. So it lets you get closer to the oven. It's also useful for people in wheelchairs. I think that's who it was originally made for. If you, but then it became very popular. So with the slide and hide oven is quite useful because it lets you get close to the food, so you can reach in and grab it easier with your oven gloves. Then I also get a notification after the 25 minutes are up to say on the phone, guys, and that your cooking has completed. So I forget all the commands I get, but I know it lets me know basically the timer is up and you're ready to eat or something like that. It says enjoy. It kind of gives you a little notification.
That's awesome. It's I think that's a really great implementation of how that works. And can you check things, Joe, like how long you've left? Do you do that with the app? Can you do that on the smart speaker at all? How does that side of things work?
Yeah, you don't really do that on the smart speaker, but you can go into the Home Connect app and you can stop the program. It'll tell you how long is left. You can actually change the program in the Home Connect app if you wanted to. You can increase the temperature, increase the time, whatever. So you can mess around with all the little different options, and you can send them remotely to the oven. Which I'll demonstrate later. Also, I can turn off the oven with the smart speaker as well if I wanted to, and not just with the app. So I can say, Alexa, ask my oven to turn off.
Okay.
and I can hear it clicked behind me and turned off. And that's it. It didn't go on about it, telling me it's all off and all the rest of it, but it's off.
That's, but you know what? In a way, though, isn't that all you need in some regards? Though, like you don't want it to be overcomplicated. You know, have you had any issues with it at all, or has it been a relatively smooth process, smooth sailing?
No, I was smooth enough. Obviously, the setup with any of these things can be a little bit difficult. The setup guide wasn't great, really. I said I'm not letting the electrician go until I get this set up. So when we installed it, obviously an electrician needs to install an oven, but the QR code was there on the documentation, so we scanned it and we got it set up, and it took us a few minutes, but that was the most difficult part, probably setting it up, and then linking the skill. Obviously there's a little bit of friction there as well, but that wasn't too bad because I created an account with Home Connect before I started, and in the Home Connect app, another really good feature is before you get the oven, you can actually download a demo device inside the app. You can say add device and try out device or something like that, it says, and add a demo device, and you can play around with the features, the programs. You can get yourself familiar with the programs that the oven has installed. You can learn how to increase the temperature and the time, and you can send it to the imaginary oven, if you know what I mean. Absolutely,
for sure. Brilliant, Joe. Thank you so much. Is there any other bits worth noting?
I just, I suppose I demonstrated just how the assistant, I asked my oven to assist me. Well, I can just show you how to turn it on without asking it to assist us. And just will say, it's not going to ask you questions, you're going to ask it questions, for example, or tell it what to do, basically. So I'm going to say, Alexa, ask my oven to turn on.
Okay, hot air at 160 degrees Celsius for 1 hour.
It puts on the default mode, which is hot air. That's the first one as you switch to the right with the dial on the oven. And then I can say, Alexa, ask my oven to increase the temperature.
Okay, 180 degrees Celsius.
And it increases in increments of 20 degrees. And I'll try it once more. Alexa, ask my oven to increase the temperature. Alexa, ask my oven to increase the temperature.
Okay, 200 degrees Celsius.
And I will ask her to turn off again. Alexa, ask my oven to turn off.
Okay.
And that's the demonstration of how to use your smart speaker and the NEF N50 oven. I think it's really good with your smart speaker, David. And you mentioned the Amazon ovens that came out years ago. I think this is even better because it allows you to use it through the Home Connect app as well.
Absolutely. Joe, thank you so much for showing us that.
Thank you, David.
Brilliant stuff. Joe, do stick with us. We're actually staying in your kitchen now because we are looking at one of the other really cool devices that you now have. It's the Quooker tap. And I must say, I've heard mixed things about the Quooker tap. I've heard it advertised a lot, but I've also heard some people say, visually impaired people won't be able to use that. What if they scald themselves or whatever? Because this thing does just do boiling water. But you've got one, and you've recorded a demo of how this works. So let's go back in time now slightly and check out how this Quooker tap works. I'm really interested in this one. So Joe, another item that you have got in your new kitchen is the cooker. Now, this is not a cooker as I would think of a cooker, but this is actually a cooker tap. Do you want to tell me a little bit about this cooker tap?
Yeah, Quooker tap. It's a hot water tap and also has filtered water. So it's a fairly advanced tap. You can replace your kettle with this tap. So it has 3 litres of boiling water underneath the sink in a vacuum flask, and you can use that throughout the day.
Awesome. So do you want to give us an idea of how the tap works? So we're in your kitchen right now.
So you're in the kitchen at my main sink, and I want to turn on filtered water. There's a tactile, twisty little. I wouldn't call it a knob or anything. It's like a washer, a twisty washer that's tactile that you can twist around. So to get filtered water, I have to push down this and then twist anti-clockwise. So I'm pushing it down, hold it for a second, and then twist anti-clockwise. And now I have filtered water. So if you want to save money on all those bottled waters that you buy in the shop, and then you have to don't want to bother with that refund system, you can go for the filter tap. So I'm going to go turn it off now by twisting it back clockwise, and now it's off. And now, so boiling water next. So if you want to make a cup of tea or something like that, look, I'm not going to recommend this tap as an accessible device or anything like that. It's just something I have in my own personal kitchen. So it does have a safety child lock on it. So to turn on the boiling water, you have to press down twice and then twist anti-clockwise. So I'll do it again. 1, 2. Yeah. And now you can hear the boiling water coming out. It comes out in a different kind of a stream, which makes coming from a flat, and it's pressurized. It comes out and it sounds a lot different. Turn it off again. There. Now we think it's covered in steam, and the water's gone down the sink. But if you want to make a cup of tea, you could either hold your cup with a tea bag in it, which is probably a little bit dangerous, or you could get a glass jug or something like that, which is a bit wider and would be easier to collect the water. And then you could pour the boiling water into a cup. And this also does your normal hot water that comes from your immersion as well, which is 60 degrees. And it also has just normal cold water as well. So that's the Quooker tap, David.
Is it in any way dangerous? Could you accidentally scald yourself with that, Joe? Or like, is it fairly, like, how do you find it in that regard, especially as a visually impaired person, that you're not going to like accidentally whack off something and suddenly, oh my God, this is boiling. Why is my hand on fire? Like,
yeah, well, you can't turn it on accidentally. It takes a little bit of work to turn on the hot water. As I said, you have to push down twice and then twist anti-clockwise. So that's the child lock version of it, if you know what I mean. That's how you turn it on. But when the water does pour out of the tap itself, I suppose that is a little bit dangerous, in fairness. You do have to be really careful. You better have to either get a wide jug or a wide saucepan, that's a pourable saucepan or something like that, before you pour it into the cup. Because, as you know, a cup has a narrow space to pour it in. But it is a little bit dangerous, but you have to be really aware of that, and you use the right, we'll say, type of jug to get the water from the tap.
sounds like there's fair water pressure out of it there, Joe, as well. Like, especially when you were doing the boiling water, it sounded like there was a fine water pressure out of it. Like, it wasn't just a little dribble coming out there either. Like,
yeah, well, it sounds like there's a lot more than there is. It does actually flow slow enough, but because it's coming from a pressurized flask underneath the sink, it actually comes out in a different type of flow and makes a bit of noise.
Okay.
So that's why that sounds so loud, David.
Are they pricey, Joe?
Yeah, you'd be starting off at about 1,800, and every time you add something to it, like filtered water, you're going up about in €300 increments. So they're not cheap. They're not something I recommend to every house or whatever. But if you're doing a full kitchen renovation, I suppose it is one thing you could consider.
And do you even have the kettle in the house now, or has the kettle been removed?
No, the kettle has been removed, and we don't have anything on our counters. So that's the idea of the modern kitchen: not to have anything on display, everything in out of the way, we'll say, and you just have some free counter space. You also save money on boiling the kettle, because Quooker tap only costs something like between 12 and 15 cents a day to heat up, whereas every time you heat your kettle, it costs between 12 and 25 cents a boil. And you could boil your kettle, I suppose, up to 5 or 10 times a day, depending on the person.
Oh, 100%, absolutely. Well, Joe, that's a fascinating one. It's one of these things I definitely get. I think the smart cooker that we chatted about earlier, the actual oven,
smart oven,
like that would definitely appeal to me. I don't know whether I'd be as keen on the tap. personally. I'd love the idea of it in some ways, but for me as well, I don't make a whole lot of tea or anything. I'm more of a cold drinks kind of person. So I don't know whether it would suit me, but it's different strokes for different folks, isn't it?
It's also handy for pasta and stuff like that. If you want to, rather than boiling pots of water before you put the pasta in, you can put boiling or hot water into the pot before you start. They're just a couple of little advantages. As you said, it doesn't suit everybody. We wouldn't recommend it as a device because of it health and safety issues. But it is something I wanted to mention and then show people how it worked. So you could either put yourself off or recommend it to yourself, whatever you wanted to do.
Absolutely. Joe, thank you so much. That really is a fascinating one. We have here down in our Cork office at Vision Ireland, we have, one of those, workplace water dispensers, the water coolers and stuff like that. And I've always thought, it is brilliant being able to just put a little thing in, actually proper cold water comes out of it. I don't think I'd be keen on the heated side of it, but I do like the idea of having the filtered water there, Joe, is pretty cool. Because, how does that work? Does it refill and filter it itself, or how does that all work?
Yeah, well, there's a filter underneath, David.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard to explain how it works. It's like a little liter bottle underneath, and obviously the water goes through that filter system and then comes through the tap. So as I said on the piece there, there's a tactile ring which you have to twist anti-clockwise. So once you push it down once and then you twist it anti-clockwise and your filtered water comes out. And the water tastes actually quite nice, very light bottled water, even in a lime area, which I live in, a lime water area. So we have a lime scale thing built into it as well to prevent lime scale build up, which lime scale is a big problem in Ireland, as you might know. And I find the filtered water good. And I look the whole bottle refund thing as well. I'm not into it because the refund machines, I don't find that accessible even, and they sometimes they're full and broken down, and the whole system to me, I'm happy. Seeing as I renovated my kitchen, I said, look, I'll go for this product, and in the long run, it will save me money as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joe, listen, thanks so much for that. Not one you'd, as you say, recommend to everyone. Some small safety concerns there. You don't want to be scalded in your hand. But an interesting product to demo all the same. So, Joe, thank you so much. That is most of our smart home kitchen stuff for today. But if you do want to get in touch with us, share some of your perspectives from the kitchen. Are you a chef? Anything like that? What do you be baking in your free time? Are you baking bread? Are you baking cakes? Or are you making some really fancy pasta or something like that? Tell us. We'd love to hear. 086 199 0011. But now it is time for Talking Technology News.
This is Talking Technology News.
So, with your latest Talking Technology News, I'm Daniel Dunn. Virgin Media have launched a new app to replace the old Virgin Media Player, with the new incarnation being called Virgin Media Play. In exciting news for those with sight loss, the new app now supports audio description, although it doesn't seem to be fully functional just yet. It's not clear what shows offer audio description, and when you start watching, the option for changing preferences doesn't always seem to appear. The app also has some screen reader issues. Under the hood, it's using the same app as GAA Go, so if you've used that app before, you'll know what to expect. The addition of audio description is fantastic to see, as this was non-existent with the old Virgin Media Player. While there is obviously a long road left to go, at least now there are positive signs. Have you any Virgin Media shows that you look forward to watching with audio description? Let us know with a WhatsApp voice note. In other news, Susan Banks was a prominent campaigner for game accessibility in the deaf community. She mainly focused on accessibility for those who are deaf or hard of hearing, working with many game studios to improve their games. In a new report from IGN, however, many people are starting to think that Susan, who had a large social media following, isn't even real. Many people spoke to IGN for the report, including staff from organisations like Able Gamers. Many people now believe that Susan was invented by Coty Craven, Susan's partner. Nobody ever directly spoke to Susan, as far as IGN can tell, with this flying under the radar due to the fact that many deaf people prefer text-based communication. When people started to get suspicious about Susan after Coty Craven announced her death back in 2019, investigations showed no signs that Susan had ever actually existed. The full report on this story is a fascinating read and can be found on the IGN website. Does this make the accessibility progress achieved based on her feedback less significant? If they are ultimately doing good work, does the fact that she may have been a work of fiction really matter? Let us know your thoughts now. And finally for now, oops, we broke it. Google Drive has been encountering accessibility issues with users unable to get the names of their files. In a post on the Google Accessibility X account, the company said, "We are aware of a problem that is causing a critical issue in Drive for screen reader users. The issue is that when users arrow up and down, they only hear the word row instead of the file name. The company is rolling out fixes as of today, but it is encouraging users to either Chrome Canary or the Google Drive desktop app as a workaround for now. They have apologized for the inconvenience that this has caused, and at least they are being transparent with the issue." Things aren't all bad for Google, however, as the company gears up to launch their new streamer TV box on September 24th. Time will tell if the device can compete with the Apple TV on the accessibility front, but it does have more processing power, so should hopefully be able to handle a bit more than its Chromecast predecessor. How do you feel Google is doing with the accessibility over the past while? Are they catching up to Apple, or is Apple still miles ahead? Let us know with a WhatsApp voice note to 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. And that's it for now. Be sure to sign up for our Tech on Tap newsletter for more stories just like this. You can sign up on the Vision Ireland website, vi.ie. But for now, it's back to you, David.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So, Susan Banks. Let's talk about Susan Banks for a second. Seemed to be real, had amassed a massive social media following, was making the gaming world more accessible for those who were deaf or hard of hearing, and she wasn't even real, seemingly, Daniel.
It's definitely one of those quirkier stories that roll around every once in a while. I'm fascinated that it was a work of somebody's imagination, but as I suppose we alluded to in the news report there, great progress was made from campaigns. So, it's a little silver lining on a dark cloud, I guess. I guess so. And I mean, it is weird that she had accessibility awards and everything named after her. Which is kind of wild, but there you go. Joe, how do you feel about this? Is it something that is ultimately damaging? Do you think this, or is it, well, she did good work? Does it really matter?
I'm not that comfortable with it, David, to be honest with you. I think it can be, it brings in a bit of mistrust into the whole situation. I think, even if it did some good, but I suppose she had to get her attention, whoever created her. They had to get her attention, so that was their way of gathering attention, by fixing problems that they knew were out there, and it gathered some moss. And I suppose when it ran out of steam, they decided to announce that the fictional character was dead. So I'm uncomfortable with the whole story, David. I didn't really like. I don't like fictional AI characters that are not real, and no, I wouldn't like that direction, to be honest.
Yeah, it does feel kind of weird. And I think you made a point when we were talking about this the other day, Joe, and I think it's a really important point in many respects, is does this make progress harder going forward because that mistrust has now been introduced? And that is a serious downside to it, that yes, Susan Banks or whoever created her, Cossie Craven or whoever, they may have done good work, but it now does make, you know, the life of organizations like Able Gamers and so on that have worked, you know, with Susan Banks and people like that in the past, it makes their work harder, doesn't it? Which is always unfortunate to see.
It definitely does make their work a little bit harder. If some mistrust has built up, then people have to double check things, and they're always hesitant then to reply to emails in case of phishing and other scams and getting caught out. So yeah, it definitely makes things a little bit harder. And has she really helped then? If you look back, no, not really.
The counter argument to that, and this is one that I noticed the other day, is that this was actually receiving some mainstream coverage. So even though people will look at someone like Susan Banks and say, okay, well, Susan didn't exist, but it does kind of bring attention to it like to a wider audience. You could say the same in some regards about Carrie Jade Williams, who allegedly was providing accessibility advice, but again, allegedly didn't have a disability either. There's a fantastic RTE documentary on one podcast about that, The Real Carrie Jade. It's well worth a listen, actually. But again, that podcast goes to a much wider audience, to just those who are, you know, aware of this stuff. So in some ways, someone could very well hear this story in a more mainstream outlet that isn't something that we will be, you know, reaching day to day, and they might actually then make a game accessible out of this. It's a very, very weird one. It's hard to know how to feel about it, because yes, you know, it comes down to, well, is all publicity good publicity? And there's never been a clear, definitive answer to that, really, is there?
Well, I think it has created a little bit of mistrust in the whole situation, and I wouldn't agree with all publicity is good publicity mantra, really, David. Obviously,
Sure.
who's that publicity good for there? You know what I mean? Is it good because they speak about we'll say accessibility, or is it good for people? Does it open it up for more people to create more fake profiles and try and maybe con organizations that deal with accessibility? I'm not sure, David. I'm kind of I'm in a different camp, I think, than some people on this story.
Yeah, no, I don't actually think, to be honest, you're in a minority camp. I do definitely feel what you're saying about it. I think it's very hard to know what to feel on it. I'm kind of conflicted on it. But I can see a lot of reasons why the mistrust could be there. But I would like to think, and I would hope, that, you know, organizations and other individuals who are working in this space have built up a reputation now at this point that, you know, accessibility should be taken seriously. But maybe that's me being too optimistic. Daniel, how are you kind of feeling on it?
Yeah, I totally get what Joe was saying there, right? Trust is everything. And, you know, like we said there's some good came out of it. That was the silver lining on the dark cloud, as I alluded to. So, yeah, like, you know, when trust is broken, but I don't think it tarnishes. I don't think it tarnishes all, you know, accessibility approaches, projects, people working in the space. It's just an unfortunate incident. It can happen in any space. So I wouldn't think people out there are going to look at it as reflective of a wider accessibility things that goes on in accessibility. I wouldn't think that for 1 second. So it just, I suppose, you know, it can be wrote off as just an unfortunate incident, and you know, left at that, I think.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. Daniel, Joe, thank you so much for joining us for Tech News. That is about our lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be back next week. You don't have a 2-week wait this time around. We are going to be back next week for Apple event coverage. Same time, same place. Do stick with us. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the VI Labs YouTube channel. We'd love to have you there. And be sure to check out our Tech on Tap technology newsletter as well on vi.ie. We would love to have you join us for the fun over there as well. But for now, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you again next week. And for now, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Technology podcast with VI Labs. If you'd like to support our show, please visit vi.ie/donate. Talking Technology is proudly sponsored by IA Labs, the market leader in digital accessibility services. IA Labs, digital inclusion, your legal obligation.